All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat Volume 83, our weekly Solo Man podcast where we talk about everything: news, reviews, discussions, announcements, reflections of 2024, state of plays, PC support. Sometimes, yes, because we cover everything PSVR2 related. What is up, you guys? We back. I hope you all had a wonderful Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah and all the things that was occurring over the last couple of weeks. But we back, baby. It is time to talk about a bunch of stuff, man. We are here to talk about a reflection of 2024, all the biggest wins and losses that PSVR2 and we had last year, and maybe a little bit of a look at what's to come very soon. But this is, of course, Interactive Chat, where I like to interact with you guys and say, what is up once again to Blue Jew. Hello, Elite Name Squad. Wait, where's your Elite Name Squad name, Blue Jew? I don't see any underground in that name. There's a severe lack of underground in that name, Jew. Organ 1X, yo, Salvador Savage, what's up, man? Snacks be munching Game Cat, Happy New Year, man. Jay, the foveated rendered Game Cat, he comes in DFR, really high definition. What is up, Robert Chant, Happy New Year. Bambino Ramos, what up, my dude? It's okay, Jew, I'll let it go this time. But you know who didn't forget, Jew? You know who didn't forget? You know who never forgets? And that is Looper, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Name Squad in the house. Let's go, baby. Pit Mappy, hello. So good to see each and every one of you, man. I missed you guys. It has been a crazy couple weeks for me, but it is time to kick things off for 2025. Happy 2025, everybody. We've got an exciting year ahead. But yeah, man. So thank you for you guys' patience. I know today's show was a little bit delayed. I got home a little bit late and then scrambled, but I've got a huge list of stuff that I want to go through and kind of, like I said, reflect on 2024 to see all the good and the bad. There was a lot of both. So it should be kind of interesting. And of course, I'm going to be checking out your comments just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because as big as this piece of paper is full of stuff to talk about, I'm sure I missed something. So don't let me forget or don't let me miss it if I don't mention it. What up, Carlotron, PSVR2, PSVR1, Quest 2, 3S, PS5 Switch. Says, hello, AJ. I see your show from Barcelona, Spain. Shout out, Barcelona. And I play 6 hours Subside. It's fantastic. Oh, man, we want more. Yes, that is definitely going to be featured among the highlights this year. Ryan, let's go sports team. Gabe Cat, hello. World Haze, what up, homie? A lot of people already mentioned PS5 Pro. See, speak your voice, because I didn't have the PS5 Pro on my list of wins, but hey, it is now. So you guys are going to help me make sure we are very thorough and cover everything. So before we get started, I'd like to thank a couple people. You, of course, watching. Thank you so much. You that are subscribed, you that hit the like, all the things that help us YouTubers out here covering this niche little lovely headset of ours. Also want to thank these people that support me on patreon.com/PSVR Underground. Thank you so much. As always, guys, you helped me get through 2024 so much. And just every little bit helps. Every bit of support in any way goes a long way. And you guys are the best freaking community I could ever be a part of. And I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I'd hug you if I could, but I can't. Yeah, man, you can also support me another way by getting yourself, if you just picked up a VR headset over the Christmas, which a lot of you apparently did over Black Friday and the holiday. Still some time left to get one, by the way, for $350. Make sure you get some lenses, man. Get some lenses to protect your headset, because yeah, it's really important. Those lenses are They can kind of get scratched easy and stuff. And you can get a discount using my code over at vr-rock.com and use the code AJPSVR. And like I said, whether you use my code or not, whether you use VR Rock or not, although I do highly recommend them, there's a reason I chose them over, some other ones. Just get some lenses, for the love of God. Get the prescription. You need glasses. You don't know it. We're all old now. We all can't see anything for shit. So you need glasses. Oh, Nihilist Ryan, my metal feline friend, the first donation of 2025. Thank you so much, my friend. And it's my lucky number 5, baby. Says, I've been starving for these live shows, AJ. Yeah, man, me too. I've been wanting to do Gamescast. I've been wanting to do all sorts of stuff, and I've been traveling and just, good Gamescast. Brian took a break, and so yeah, man, me too. I've been jonesing hard. So let's see here. But okay, so real quick, guys. So last year, at the end of last year, I did something similar. I did a biggest W's and L's of 2023. And I think the highlight of 2023 was obviously the launch of the headset, as well as, AAA games. We got stuff like Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo 7, No Man's Sky, and Resident Evil 4. That's something that we wanted for a very long time. That's kind of the dream, is like, we want to be able to play all these games. A lot of us are hardcore gamers. We played PlayStation before VR came out, and then VR happened, and we're like, yeah, I think this is kind of the way I want to play moving forward. So that was a huge deal. There was also tons of other games that were really, really good and came out. And the biggest L of 2023, sorry, that I said last year around this time was the narrative around PSVR2. It just seems like PSVR and PSVR2 from the get-go have always got kind of an unfair shot, blasted by the media, never anything positive to say. And some of this is kind of the growing struggles of VR. It is a new medium. It is expensive, and it takes a lot of time and investment. And in many cases, yeah, it's kind of hard to balance a flat screen life with the VR life. But for me, I have 100% committed to VR, because that's just, if it wasn't for VR, I probably wouldn't be playing games very much anymore. But the narrative was a big problem. And going into 2024, that narrative kind of was still there. I think that negative outlook, the unfair, whatever it is, I don't know why PSVR has always gotten an unfair kind of narrative surrounding it. Some things, some criticisms, of course, were justified, but it just seems more often than not, it's a lot of crap. But that was one thing, that happened in 2023 that luckily has changed. That has been a big, nice change. And you guys are so active here, that I think you broke the chat box. So go you for breaking things. I don't know what happened. I swear I saw it a moment ago and then it just disappeared. I am, of course, also on my brand new PC using this for the first time, so who knows what's going to happen. But I need to get your comments back ASAP, because I want to see your lovely comments on the screen. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Y'all broke it. Let's see if I can get it to work somehow. Maybe there's just a delay or something. We'll give it a second and then see what happens. But yeah, man. So, luckily one of the biggest, I'm going to kind of be bouncing back between, the wins and the losses. We took this last year. Yeah, kind of just bouncing back and forth. But like I said, one of the biggest things was the narrative going into 2024, and pretty much It's funny, man. It's almost like, oh, there, I see Flame Hat's comment. Okay, we might be back in business. Here we go. There's your lovely comments popping up now. One of my biggest favorite things is that all of a sudden it seems like as of around Black Friday, maybe within just the last 2 months or so, it seems like that narrative has finally changed. Not completely, of course, not completely. But I do feel like people are starting to realize, oh, PSVR2 is a good headset, and PS5 is a pretty, considering how expensive VR can be, it is one of two, pretty much, the most affordable ways to have like a high-end gaming experience in VR. And that's been a lovely change. It is good for my mental health because it's hard, man. It's hard, when you like something so much, when you believe in something so much, to just constantly have this like any excuse to bring it down again. And then all that, comes over to me and all the misinformation and just blah. So that was a huge one, a big change that happened this year. That was super important, man. Super important. So I'm nice that it's nice that people are finally coming around and realizing that PSVR2 is a good headset, and VR in general is awesome. I've said it before, I'll say it again. All VR is awesome. Me as a, gamer, I like high-end, high-quality VR. And there's been some changes that happened that kind of helped change this narrative. And we'll get into those very shortly. But first, I want to back up all the way kind of to the beginning of 2024 and talk about, how things started off with a bang. I mean, we had just gotten Resident Evil 4, which was huge, but it still just wasn't enough yet. But in 2024, that was the end of 2023. In 2024, we started off with a state of play as well as a release of we had some really great indie games this year. Some really great indie games. Indies came out strong. We didn't get like as many AAA games like we did last year or the year before with, like I said, Gran Turismo, Resident Evil. But as we've, learned good and well that, AAA games are going to take some more time before VR is a viable enough market to make AAA games on. So right now, the shift this year was we got something a little bit different where a lot of indies really came out strong, and we had these sort of like almost AA games that came out. And I'm talking about the big three, which I'll definitely get into. But we got to give a shout out, as my man Nihilus Ryan, my Metal Feline friend, says, we kicked off the year with Legendary Tales, man. Oh, right off the bat, we got a huge 30+ hour RPG, true RPG. Maybe not the deepest RPG wise, but combat, literally some of the best combat, if not the best physics-based combat on PSVR 2. Let me see if I have a video here too. There's lots of videos I wanted to feature, obviously kind of hard while running the show, but I got to give a shout out, like I said, to Legendary Tales, because holy crap, man, really blew us away. Buster Butcher, Power Bomb. Okay, this might be loud for a second. I'm sorry. So, oh crap. Okay, there we go. RPGs are. I have many favorite, many favorite genres that I like. But RPGs is just something we haven't had a lot of in VR, and a lot of that is attributed to they're just really expensive to make. If you want to make them bigger, it's hard to, a lot of VR games, most developers can only afford to make a a 5-hour game, you know, like even with the highest quality production, stuff like Hubris, Synapse, like a lot of these games end up being you know, just like 5 hours long, and their quality, but it's like, well, they leave you kind of wanting more. Urban Wolf Games and my dude BJ over there and said, I don't give AF. We're going to make the game we want to make, or at least the closest to the game we want to make, and bring a big, you know, very expensive, deep, extensive RPG game in Legendary Tales. And not only that, but after launch, it got a bunch of updates as well. And, you know, sadly, this game didn't sell. It sold really well, but it was like on the verge of like not really enough, just because the user base is still so small. Hence, again, why we don't see AAA developers making games for this. So it's really important, like I always say, that we support, you know, these big smaller games, because like we got to start somewhere, man. And Legendary Tales, it was still awesome to see how much support this game got, how much people loved it, and it was just an awesome game. So huge shout out to Legendary Tales. The biggest L of the beginning of 2024, because we're going to talk about some L's too. We're going to, like I said, change it back and forth. So prepare your emotions, because this is going to be a roller coaster of good news, a good thing that happened, bad thing that happened, good thing that happened, bad thing. And it's going to be emotional roller coaster. So get ready. So we had some kind of like meh ports that came out. You know, I think Vertigo 2 is a good example. That's a great game. But that port, you know, could have been a little bit better. We ended up getting some other ports that were like meh, like Stride and what does that say? Dead Hook, a couple other games. But yeah, kind of the continuation of some iffy ports, not necessarily bad games, but some iffy ports came out. And that's just something, you know, we hope to see go. You know, it's normal these days for a game to have a couple bugs at launch here and there, a couple issues that can be fixed. But you know, some of them, it's like, well, they need to be tailored for the hardware to take full advantage of the features. Things like eye track foveated rendering, haptics, adaptive triggers, things like that, headset rumble. We want all of these features in our PSVR2 device that can use these. It's kind of a waste. Otherwise, that's why you always hear people say like, oh, it feels more like a Quest port or this, that. And but anyways, the biggest L to start off 2024 was actually First Contact Entertainment shutting down. We got right, I think it was around Christmas or so. It was their Christmas present to us. FCE announced that they will be closing their doors for good after a botched launch of Firewall 0 Hour, or Firewall Ultra, I should say. Which was a huge disappointment. It was a big disappointment, and it fed more into the narrative of, you know, VR is dead, PSVR is dead, whatever. Studios shutting down, blah blah blah. You know, the media didn't hesitate one bit. They don't ever talk about the good things that happened, but the media and everybody was, you know, quick to jump on and be like, oh, this is shutting down. You know, what this means bad for VR, for PSVR. But that, and you know, that was that did sting a little bit, because Firewall 0 Hour was one of the best games on PSVR. It was arguably the best game, and having a military, you know, tactical 4v4 strategic shooter is something that was really important. A lot of people went out and bought a PSVR 1 because of Firewall. It was a system seller. It was probably the biggest system seller that wasn't a known IP. And so, yeah, it was the launch of Firewall was just a disaster. It was incredibly disappointing. They literally just had to take the same game and just literally just refine it for PSVR 2. And they made a bunch of questionable decisions, like, you know, using your eye tracking to the eye tracking to throw a grenade, to use a weapon wheel thing, like all these weird decisions. And then on top of it, it was like pretty much broken at launch and you couldn't really squad up with your teammates properly. And it was just a disaster in every single way. And sadly, the team, you know, there's been a lot of teams that have stuck it out and said, no, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna get this game. You know, a lot of people kind of put over business. They just want to make the best game they possibly can. And we've seen some examples that we will talk about with that. But Firewall was not one of them. They said, this is not worth it. We give up. They basically threw in the towel and gave up on us, which is unfortunate because, again, you know, that's still a genre that, you know, aside from Pavlov, I mean, Pavlov did really, really well, has done pretty well. But aside from Pavlov, you know, Crossfire and Breachers, like, you know, like they're okay, but they weren't that system seller that Firewall was. So pretty disappointing there. Kill Artist won the Dreamweaver Game Cat. Thank you so much for the second donation of 2025. Let's go. Woo! Already raking in the dough. No, I got a long way to go, but really appreciate the love and support. Right back at you, my friend. Says AJ, Kill Artist. I am going to upgrade my T284 Thrustmaster wheel with the new direct drive T598. Been playing lots more GT7 on my PSVR2. Hooray, 2025. That's how you start off 2025 with a bang. Kill Artist, congrats. I've heard that those direct drive wheels are really, really good. I've definitely had a couple comments saying like get rid of your trash T150 Pro, which is a really good racing wheel, by the way. And they said get a direct drive one. So yeah, man, I look forward to hearing what the difference is. But anyways, so like I said, unfortunately Firewall kind of gave up on us, but you know who didn't give up on us? That is, of course, it basically did the opposite of what Firewall and First Contact Entertainment did. Hellsweeper, a lot of games got some significant updates. Some games that had a really bad launch in 2023, like No Man's Sky, Hellsweeper. No Man's Sky got fixed in 2023 or before, but in 2024, Hellsweeper VR finally got the long-awaited update. This was one of my most anticipated games. As somebody that loves Devil May Cry, literally one of my favorite IPs of all time, especially during the PS2 era. And then people that like games like Binding of Isaac and other things. Hellsweeper finally got the dynamic foveated rendered update that really turned around the game. And again, these guys, they didn't really care about the money or anything. They were like, look, like we just wanted to make, it was an unfortunate situation what happened. We were developing for multiple platforms, didn't have the option to change it. And so better late than never, man. I'll always say better late than never, because Hellsweeper is a badass game and is some of the most satisfying locomotion, some of the best fluid locomotion, lets you do backflips for all the crazies like us out there that want to be doing backflips in VR and, you know, juggling enemies with swords and guns and all this stuff. Huge win. But Hellsweeper wasn't the only game that got a major update. Stuff like Beat Saber recently got the Metallica pack. And Beat Saber, you guys, that's like, honestly, Beat Saber kind of like, I kind of got like over it. Like I kind of got bored with it. Like as great as it is, it was like, well, I've been playing this for like how many years now? 5 years, whatever. And I was just like, just kind of tired of it. I mean, there's not many games, even some of my favorite games of all time. Like I can't just play them endlessly forever, you know, except for a few. And it was kind of falling by the wayside for me. And I was losing interest in Beat Saber, but man, they added so many updates, so many new music packs, so many new mechanics, and then stuff like Metallica pack, huge. No Man's Sky, of course, added. No Man's Sky got a huge, it got the DFR update end of last year, but then it got some amazing new updates like the Aquarius that added fishing, some huge things, and especially over the summer, when I really needed it the most. No Man's Sky really came through, and Gran Turismo 7. Speaking of Gran Turismo 7, No Man's Sky, Gran Turismo 7, you can count on these two games every single year to get some kind of update, significant updates that's going to make you jump back in for at least 20 hours, if not way more than that. Nick Mulo says, I kind of hate the Metallica pack. Too many long ass songs. It's also very difficult, which I actually like. But yeah, it's not like a, hey, I can clear this on the first try thing. It's definitely going to take some practice. But yeah, man. So that really helped the summer out, especially. And there were some other games like Happy Funland. I haven't gone back to really try it. I did a little bit. But what's that shooter game? What's shoot, now I can't remember the name of it. There was the one PS3 converted to VR game, Bulletstorm. Thank me, because I remembered. Where were you on that one, Looper? I was counting on you. No, but Bulletstorm got a big update. Lots of games that had crappy launches in 2023 ended up having some really good comebacks in 2024. Like I said, like Hellsweeper most notably. Bulletstorm got a little bit better. Some other games came back to life. Okay. We've got some more L's to get through, but I gotta give another shout out. We got a lot more wins as well, because I have to give a huge shout out. And I think I saw somebody mention this earlier, but Madison VR. Oh my goodness. This, of course, was delayed from 2023 into 2024. But my God, you guys. Now, I'm a horror fan. I'm a pretty big horror fan, especially when it comes to VR, because VR makes horror so much more scary. And my God, Madison VR was one of the scariest games I have ever played in my life. It's up there with Resident Evil 7 and Alien Isolation and a couple others, even Five Nights at Freddy's, which, don't give me crap, man. I thought the first Five Nights at Freddy's was really scary. But there's a lot of horror games. There's no shortage of horror games in VR. The problem is, in my opinion, at least, most of them are just bad. Like, most of them are boring, just not great. But what makes Madison VR so special is, holy crap, man, it is just such a great game for so many different reasons. It's a 8-hour game, 10-hour game, I can't remember, but it felt like a full-length game, and it was super high quality. And like I said, man, it was just so scary. Supernatural shit. I don't believe in ghosts. Like, ghosts aren't real. But because otherwise I'd be a professional ghostbuster. That's how I know ghosts aren't real. Or a professional exorcist. I would totally quit anything I was doing right then and there. But that being said, ghosts and supernatural stuff, movies, games, they still scare the absolute shit out of me. So I do find them very, very scary. Stuff like PT and whatnot, and Phasmophobia is another good one. But Madison VR, just what a wonderful game. And also, I loved the storytelling of it. A lot of games don't have great stories, and Madison had a wonderful story. It's like a horrible story in terms of what happens, but a wonderfully told story that's really dark and psychologically scarring. So just a warning there. Still, got to go play Madison VR. What an amazing game. And then, of course, I have to mention real quick the PAX meetup, which we are doing it again this year. For those who don't know, we're doing the Game Cat meetup 2025 at PAX East. Make sure you get your tickets, get your hotels, everything as early as possible. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of you again. The PAX meetup was amazing. That was the first one we did since pre-COVID. Obviously, you know, we did our first Game Cat meetup in 2019. And then we were planning on doing it in Atlanta, in my neck of the woods, for 2020. That never happened. And then 4 years later, we finally got to do it again. So it was awesome that the Game Cat meetup has made a return as of last year. Huge win. We got to go out there, represent PSVR2 because nobody else was. And it was just, what an experience that was up in Boston. And I'm really glad that this year it's going to be it's going to be a little bit warmer this time around. But that was amazing, man. That was amazing. And I know some of you, Scott, by the way, Scott PSVR Game Cat for Life, happy birthday, my friend. I saw you saying it was like your birthday or something, or I saw other people saying it was your birthday. If that's true, man, happy birthday. Thank you for being awesome. And I look forward to seeing you at the 2025 Game Cat meetup. Let's go. Oh, Metal Game Cat Solid Fritz, you coming back, baby? Hell yeah, man. My dude, it was amazing. I got to meet so many of you. And it was, guys, it was like such an incredible experience. And dude, I can't wait. Hell yeah. I look forward to seeing you again and seeing whoever else is coming out there this time. But I had to give a shout out. That was a huge win. That was a ginormous win for our community over at PAX East. And shared, you know, there's a Gamescast Live that we did in front of an audience for the first time. Did a developer interview with BJ from Legendary Tales, and got to meet, you know, developers from Skydance and To The Top. It was so cool, man. Cannot wait. Awesome Tatum. Notice that I cleaned up a little bit here. It says, wait, did AJ finally fix that shelf? I did, sort of. I cleaned it up a little bit, you know, and there's a new poster. Dreams is no longer here because Sony killed Dreams. Although the Dream is still alive, just back in the corner. And there's my T150 Pro. I needed to make some space for it. Yeah, I reorganized a little bit. I got a lot more to do, but yeah, also rocking the Swordsman poster here. Shout out Sin Studio. Release the Kraken! Oh, I missed you guys. Good eye, mate. Scott has clarified and said, it's my birthday on March 12th. WTF. Listen, man, I don't know why everyone's wishing you a happy birthday, but I just wanted to join in on the fun. So happy birthday, Scott. Don't, when March 12th comes around, you can't say I never told you happy birthday. No. What up, System Critical? Good to see you guys. Or dude. Thank you for jumping in, man. But yeah, man. So anyways, Game Cat PAX meetup 2024 was amazing, and I look forward to seeing you all once again. But yeah, so like I said, I do still have some L's to talk about for 2024. I guess I'll go ahead and just mention, well, we got to keep this balance. Like I said, I'm trying to torture you emotionally and be like, yay, aw, yay, aw. But we had, you know, something that happened in 2023 that also happened in 2024. Lots of delays, man. So many games got delayed. There was a lot of games that we were kind of expecting anywhere from Q2 and beyond. But yeah, man, this is a list of some games that were delayed in 2024. And this isn't like a huge L because a lot of these games are still coming. But hey, man, I'm trying to keep it balanced here, okay? You know how we do here. Zombie Army VR, delayed. Wanderer VR. Hitman, World of Assassination Trilogy. Or just World of Assassination. Exocars, Arcanage, Firmament, Exorcist, and Aces of Thunder. are just a list of some of the games that were, everybody likes to say our game's coming out in October. And then, and then everything, basically, whenever a bunch of stuff gets announced for October, I'm just going to assume it's getting delayed unless it's a horror game, because every year, it never fails. It's like clockwork. Every year, like 10 developers announce stuff in October, and we're like, oh my God, like, how are we going to have the time to be able to cover all this stuff all in this 1 month? And then what happens? Everything else gets delayed to the next year. So, oh well. But anyways, so that was one of the L's for there. Again, I do want to give another shout out to a lot of the indie devs out there, because I know it's hard. Most indie devs do this as a passion project, but there's some that also just happen to create really great games. And we appreciate you giving us something to play. That's good. I have a huge list of some games here that came out early on in 2024. Stuff like Cube. Cube was really good. We had Overdark. Even some newer stuff like Subside came out. Phasmophobia, which I think that's an indie dev. Not anymore after their success, though. Vendetta Forever is an awesome game. Genotype. Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye. Even Arizona Sunshine Remake was pretty good. And you know what? Since you're here, I'll give you a shout out to System Critical. Congrats on releasing last year. I think it was last year, right? God, I can't remember. Time flies so fast. But lots of awesome indie games. But one in particular that really stood out from the rest, man. Really stood out. And I'm talking about Into the Radius. Into the Radius, the sort of Metro, sort of Stalker inspired. It's all kind of that same sci-fi, surreal survival kind of thing that happened with this game. But, after a long drought of summer, which, by the way, summertime, huge L for all of VR. I no longer like summer at all. Okay, no, maybe it's not the worst because I could just go outside and touch grass, which you need to do every now and again. But right after summer ended, I was very relieved because the game started coming back again. And of course, we kicked things off with Into the Radius. Easily the biggest hidden gem of the year award at this award show now is absolutely going to Into the Radius. It's one of the best games on the console of all time, and was just a fantastic game, man. If you're into shooters, like, it's a really awesome deep shooter. Great sci-fi stuff. I'm a big sci-fi guy myself, and just like I said, the surreal world, and just really cool to just wander around. It's not open world, but it feels very open world. It's more like open area, which I also really like. But just an incredibly crafted world, amazing gunplay, and very deep VRAF mechanics. Also the best guitar that I had there. Some people, Bad Robo showing some love for Into the Radius. Nice. Bambino Ramos showing some love. A lot of y'all seem to agree with me that Into the Radius is really good. Azur Wrath, what up, homie? Says he has a guide you can check out if you need some help with it. Check out Azur Wrath. And yeah, man, Into the Radius, awesome game. Best hidden gem of 2024. Absolutely gets that award. Huge game and great price, great gameplay, all the things, graphics, everything. Just from the menu alone, it was awesome. So Into the Radius, a huge W. Also, the game is doing pretty well. Last I checked, it was at like 900 something ratings. That's good. That's really good. So I'm going to give a big W to all of you out there that are actually buying and supporting and playing these awesome games that come out. A big difference between PSVR 2 and PSVR 1 is that PSVR 1, kind of late in the life cycle, or just, you know, intermittent, like kind of intermittently would get these big, awesome games, and then nobody would play them. They would completely go under the radar, and it was heartbreaking every single time. One of my favorite things about this gen is that when there's a good game, that shit spreads by word of mouth like wildfire, and people go out and they buy it and they play it, they pick it up, they rate it on PSN. You guys are doing an amazing job, you know, doing your best to support. You know, we're a smaller crowd, so it's really important that each one of us makes our voice heard and just, you know, goes above and beyond for these developers that are basically sacrificing everything for us in the first place, to kind of achieve this dream of just one day, you know, being a huge enough market to where they can actually turn like huge profits and you know, just make it a little bit more viable. And so it is an awesome, huge W from the community this year, that has just been very supportive. Into the Radius has like 900 something ratings on PSN. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. We said before, we've seen games that have like 600 ratings, 700, 800 ratings. That typically meant even at a very slow PSVR2 install base, in 2024, like that was like 10,000 sales right off the bat, which is good. You know, not as good for like big games, but for an indie dev will take 10,000 sales all day. That's enough to support it and keep it started. Bambino says, just rated it 5 stars. First time I've rated a game on PSN. Good on you, Bambino. Again, better late than never, my friend. Azarat says, Into the Radius is top 10. I agree. Where's my I don't know. It's close to top 10, if not top 10. But I think it does deserve to be in that conversation for sure. It is that good. Bad Robot says, cleaning and collecting weapons could be a separate game. Dude, yeah. That whole, like, after you go out you know, on a really intense exploration mission, to come back and then just like the gameplay mechanics they just complement each other so well, because like it's such a relief. You're just like, oh, now I just gotta, you know, now I get to breathe and take my toothbrush and clean and spray with WD-40 my guns and clean my guns and organize my equipment and all that stuff. Yeah, fantastic game loop. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Really, really great. Looper, listen, I'm working on my official top games list, my next one. I don't have everything finalized. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be around there, in the top 10. I don't know about top 5 because there's some fierce competition, but definitely in the top 10 discussion. Absolutely. Easily. Fantastic game. Huge win, Into the Radius. And I hope we get Into the Radius 2, which also has Coop. It has co-op. That'll be really, really cool. All right. So I kind of mentioned this before, but a big L of 2024 was the summertime, man. Summertime sucks for VR. I don't know why every developer just decided to stop releasing games. I do understand that, you know, summertime people maybe play VR less, they're traveling, different things. However, I do think it was also a huge missed opportunity for any developer to come out and say, you know what, there's nobody releasing anything right now. Maybe we could take advantage of this. And nobody did. So it just ended up being a drought for like 4 months. And so the summertime, for VR, I do not like you anymore. Another big L, however, another big W, was the announcement of Flat to VR Studios. I thought that this was really cool. You know, again, a lot of us were not like VR gamers first or VR enthusiasts first. A lot of us are just core gamers, and that's why this platform does really is so perfect for us because we like the ease of use of just a less expensive console that you can use, having a nice hardware with good features, and play some awesome games. You just hit play and then you go. Flat to VR Studios is a brand new studio that aims to bring flat games into VR, and that is something we always wanted. I've always wanted. I want more of. I want as many as we can possibly get. Obviously, they're a new studio, so they're kind of starting small. But they've released things like Trombone Champ, and I don't know what else they've released. But more importantly, they're releasing their next game is flat out VR, the high octane adrenaline arcade racer. So they're already starting to move up a little bit in terms of scope of games. But this is definitely a studio to keep your eye on. One that I'm very, very excited about, and look forward to their success because we are going to, definitely benefit from their success a lot. Quick side indie shout out to, I told you guys I'm going to be trying to monitor your comments as well. But a lot of love for Arcade Paradise. That's actually one of the few games that I have not played yet. And it's because of the time that Arcade Paradise came out is the reason I didn't get to do it. Unfortunately, I had a loss in my family around the time, right around the same time they gave me a review key for it, and I just never caught up and got back to it. So Arcade Paradise, I will make a note of that. That is something I need to play. So I wanted to write the devs and tell them, sorry, I didn't cover your game. But again, I had a personal family matter to deal with to tend to. So Sadukar 7th Legion, thank you so much, man, for the huge donation, the third donation of 2025. Let's go, baby. Says, Happy New Year, mate. Hoping this is your best yet. Love from Scotland. I thank you, laddie. Oh, man. Dude, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I'll tell you what, man. I think 2025 is going to be an awesome year. It's going to start really strong. And the thing about 2025 too is that like we have ended on such a high note, which we'll get into more pretty soon. But I think we've got a lot of momentum going into 2025, so it's going to be pretty sweet. But moving on, because we have some other things that I want to mention here. I've got, like I said, a huge thing. Now, one of the few bright spots of the summer. There was only really one. Actually, there was like 2 or 3 bright spots over the summer. Most everything was pretty just the long and terrible, painful drought. But something did happen. I did mention Gran Turismo 7, No Man's Sky. You can always count on those games to save your ass with an awesome update when you need it most. But there was something else. And that is, over the summer, the release of the PlayStation VR2 PC adapter. I know some of you are like, no, don't talk about PC support. Well, too bad, because it happened and it is awesome. And this is actually something that that actually kind of changed the narrative. This is like kind of where the narrative for PSVR2, like you saw like a huge change. All of a sudden, not everybody was just hating on it. A lot of people were excited. Now I know our community is a little bit divided on this. Some people have PCs, some people don't, and some people don't care and want. I see advantages to both, Bambino. For me, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I want to play that's just not available on PSVR2 with PS5, or just not available without like mods or something. Returnal is a great example. me playing Returnal in this gameplay, I have gotten to the PC adapter has been huge. It has expanded it has expanded my options and my abilities to play games in VR with my PSVR2. And my God, you guys, the biggest surprise to me is how good of a PC VR headset PSVR2 is. Holy shit. I know some of you, like I said, are not going to be interested in this, but let me just tell you, PSVR2 is a badass PC VR headset, mainly because of the OLED, the comfort, and yeah, I mean, yes, it's missing some features like DFR and haptics, adaptive triggers. Those are sticking on PS5. Sony's trying to be like, well, if you want to play the best version, blah blah blah, whatever. I do think people will eventually mod it. I do think some of those features, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those features eventually make it onto PC. But again, for me, it's not about what I can play. It's not like in most cases, I'm not going to play on PC over PSVR, over PS5. For me, the most exciting thing about PC has been all the things I can't get anywhere else other than PC. And that basically includes like mods, like UEVR. Dude, you can play UEVR with a PSVR 2. That's amazing. And then like UEVR is an absolute game changer. UEVR is the reason I bought a PC. But not only that, I've been able to, there's stuff like Luke Ross mods, which if you have a powerful enough PC, then you can play stuff like Cyberpunk 2077. Let me tell you guys something. I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 and Ghostwire Tokyo and Spyro the Dragon and Returnal and Sackboy's Big Adventure and a long list of games that are really, really awesome and you can't play anywhere else. This PC adapter is huge. I still haven't even gone back and finished Half-Life Alyx yet. Half-Life Alyx is amazing. And what I'm gonna do in terms of to me, it's like, well, as long as it's using a PSVR 2 headset, it's fair game on the channel. You'll find a lot of coverage for PSVR 2 on PC for me, kind of separate than the PS5 stuff. I'm gonna try to keep it separate because I understand that not the entire audience has PC or cares about PC. I think both are super important though. Like again, I get to play a lot of things that that just wouldn't happen otherwise. Cyberpunk 2077, Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo is never coming to VR naturally. I mean, maybe in a long time from now, but I seriously doubt it. And I did say Spyro Blue Jew, the underground game cap for life. Elite Name Squad back in the house again. Nice. Virtual Resistance says, AJ, play Contractors Exfil Zone. Thank me later. It's the only reason I'm loving Steam VR PC since I built it 5 months ago. Well, I have plenty of reasons to love PC VR, but I will definitely check out this Exfil Zone that I keep hearing about. But I got to play through Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy VII Remake, my favorite game of all time. I can't wait to play Final Fantasy Rebirth in VR. You guys, it's just like, it is a dream come true machine. The only problem is that PC is very, very expensive. Very expensive because VR on PC requires basically a futuristic supercomputer. And so anyways, like I was saying, I will probably be adding some PC VR stuff on the channel. Maybe do like a Sunday chat show, interactive chat where it's just talking about PC stuff, live streams, all that. A lot of that you're gonna find it's gonna be separated from the PS5 stuff because there's definitely different people. I want people to just be able to tune in, listen to the whole thing, enjoy it, not have to worry about, well, I like this, but I don't care about this. I want to just keep it tight and organized around here. So you'll get PS5 centric shows and you'll get PC VR centric shows and live streams and stuff. But regardless, the big point here is that the PC VR adapter for PSVR 2 is a huge huge W, maybe even the biggest win of the year. If not for some, pretty awesome games that came out, the PCVR adapter is huge. Whatever anyone says, it doesn't matter. It's a big deal. It is awesome. It expands what you can do. It adds value to your PSVR2 headset, and that's a big deal. And I can't wait to dive in more. So much stuff with the PCVR adapter. Returnal is one of the most mind-blowing things I've had on here. Another big win. We finally got the PS Plus collection for PSVR2. It took a while, but this was something that we had talked about, like Sony needs to do this. Like more people will explore the library and what it has to offer with this PlayStation Plus collection. And man, it has gotten some really good games on there. Synapse, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, I think chapter 1 and 2. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest VR games of all time, but also some really fun ones like Synth Riders, Walkabout Mini Golf, not Clockwork Orange, The Last Clockwinder, or The Last Clock Tower. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's The Last Clockwinder. Some really good stuff. Before Your Eyes, that's not a really game I like to pay for, but it was cool to experience. Some really, really good stuff. I think this was, even though I don't even have PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever it is anymore, still very good. Oh yeah, Star Wars got added, Pistol Whip, Looper, naming them all, Kayak. But yeah, man, huge. This was a huge deal. Again, it's just kind of, it's good for marketing. It's good for the narrative. It's good for people that, have the Plus collection and want to maybe experiment, but don't want to buy everything and try it out. With Sony's lack of a refund policy, an easy one anyways. The PlayStation Plus collection is a awesome, safe way for you to do that. All right, so huge. I'd say a solid W for this. Okay, now we're gonna get into some good stuff here, but we gotta get into probably the biggest L of the year. Apparently, I don't have. Let's see here. I don't have it up. I don't have any videos or anything. The biggest L of 2024 for the PlayStation VR2 was, of course, Astrobot, or the lack thereof. The betrayal of Astrobot and Team Asobi. Now, here's the catcher here, is that it's still possible that Astrobot gets a VR mode or a VR spinoff. This is very entirely possible. I'd be kind of surprised if Team Asobi didn't do any VR thing after the backlash that they faced. But Astrobot was easily the biggest loss of 2024. It would have really, the PSVR 2 has had some mega sales, $350. People have been buying it like hotcakes. Like the PSVR 2 has literally sold 30 times ever since Black Friday. It's been selling it 30 times what it previously was. Going based off of and that's just what we know about. That's just based off of Amazon reviews and Amazon numbers that showed us that what was originally like 800, 900 a month, it was literally selling in the hundreds. It's now, it hit up to, the highest that I saw was that it hit up to 30,000 sold in a month. And that was, of course, like I said, over Black Friday. That's a huge boost for us. And a huge W there. But there was one thing that would have really paired nicely with that sale. There was two things that I said that need to happen for PSVR 2 to really turn it around. One was a sale. Number two was like, they better release Astrobot VR. That sadly never happened, and they completely ignored it. They got a lot of hate for it, a lot of backlash for it. At least, a lot of people were upset about it, myself included. Astrobot's dead to me now, and I don't give a shit except for the PSVR1 version. That's still nice. But as great as people love Astrobot, at the end of the day, though, I do think what they did was at least smart from a business perspective. But it was a total middle finger to all the people that really helped put Astrobot on the map to begin with. It was a big middle finger to the most dedicated fans almost. That was one of the best games on PSVR1, and never brought us an Astrobot remaster. Never brought a lot of the first party stuff like Wipeout, Farpoint. Blood and Truth, a lot of these things, which, coupled with the disaster of, no Astrobot being announced and the betrayal, the betrayal, I'll call it. On top of that, stuff like London Studio closed down. I almost forgot about that. That's, and Firesprite had a bunch of layoffs. So it did take some hits. I don't know if that was 2024 or not. I think it was last year. But all of this was just like, well, this sucks because now stuff like Blood and Truth 2 or whatever is never going to happen. So yeah, big L's in terms of kind of like, the handling of Astrobot, not even teasing that, hey, a VR thing is in development or showing any interest. Now, in Astrobot's defense, it did go on to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It seemed like it had lots of success on the console. It is typically something that was refreshing to see. The only problem is that nobody's going to know how much better this game is in VR because it's so much better. As great as Astro's Playroom was, which was like solid, like Astrobot Rescue Mission absolutely destroys it, like in every single way, as a game, as a immersion, fun factor, everything. Astrobot Rescue Mission was amazing. So anyways, I think that's the biggest L of 2024 was Astrobot getting just completely ghosted. They ghosted us with Astrobot. Fuck you, Jim Ryan. Go fuck yourself and your super hit and run retirement piece of shit. God, I hate him so much. Anyways, so we got more W's to talk about. As you can see, that one makes me kind of angry. But anyways, so the good news is, oh man, yeah, Dreams. Anyways, yeah, that was a big disappointment, big disappointment. But like I said, the good news is that Team Asobi saw a lot of success with Astrobot being Flatstrobot, and also, them not having to close their doors like so many other studios and companies have and developers means that, there is still hope. There is still hope that we get an Astrobot VR, and it needs to happen. And I do think that their success with this only helps the possibility of getting a VR version come back, which would be really, really nice. But anyways, so that was the biggest L of the year. That one hurt really, really bad, and it didn't help that other betrayals took place, like Kind of Funny Games, saying PSVR2 is dead for the 5th time and laughing about it. Fuck you, Kind of Funny too. I like some of you guys, but you can go fuck yourself in that regard. and other media outlets also jumped on and was like, PSVR2 is dead. This is it. Blah, blah, blah. That hurt because we all know how great this headset is and how fun VR is. And we want to see it do well. We want to see it do better. And luckily it withstood all this bullshit. And one thing that helped. Okay, before I get into the another one of the big awesome things, W's here. I got another smaller W here. I got to give a little shout out. Now this is both a W and an L here. And I'm talking about Behaptics official support. Now, the cool thing is that Behaptics, an amazing accessory. This is one of the coolest accessories I think could have happened for VR. A full haptics vest suit with 40 motors for directional haptics precision, as well as an audio to haptics feature. But the W here is that you can play the Behaptics natively with some games like Legendary Tales, Hellsweeper VR, Cube, Big Shots VR, and a couple other games. But really what makes it, if worth the money, is that you can use this audio to haptics mode to play a bunch of games that don't have native support in a pretty understandable way. I'm sorry, a pretty acceptable way. Here you can see I'm playing stuff like No Man's Sky with the haptics suit, and stuff like right here I'm feeling a volcano erupt, and it feels really, really good. Then there was stuff like Gran Turismo 7 where I was, every time you rev the engine, you really feel it, and you feel the track, the dirt kick up, and you feel like you're just feeling all of this stuff happen. Did Epic Roller Coaster get official haptic support? Because let me tell you, Epic Roller Coaster, even with the audio to haptics mode, Epic Roller Coaster was like one of the biggest reasons I was sold on the vest. I'm not even joking. That was amazing. So if Epic Roller Coaster got native support for the Behaptics vest, dude, I gotta go check that shit out, because I've only played it with the audio mode, and it was amazing. Like, it is an absolute game changer. I spent 10 hours in Epic Roller Coaster with the audio to haptics mode using this. So that's a huge deal. But yeah, stuff like, oh man, Galaxy Kart. There's so many games that work really, really well with the audio to haptics mode. So that's like really the big win here. Some of the native support is great. Legendary Tales is a standout. The other ones are like, whatever. But the audio to haptics mode allows you to play so much more. The L side of this is that not enough games got official native support. We need, in order for, PlayStation VR only players to really buy into this thing, it's going to take a lot more native support. I want native support for No Man's Sky, for Gran Turismo. It's passable with the audio mode, but I mean, come on, it's a $500 vest. We need a little bit more than passable. And again, this is really just exclusively the Behaptics native support on PS5. That is the only L, because the vest is amazing. It's a high quality vest. It feels amazing. It's got tons of PC support. It's even got a lot of Quest game support. It needs more native support for PSVR2 to really make some noise. On a side note, they did just release a lighter version and a less expensive version that's about half the price. It's the Tac Suit Air, I think, and the Tac Suit something else. But yeah, this has just been, I love the haptics vest. It is so much fun. I love to use it. I still use it on a bunch of stuff, and it is awesome, man. But I want to see more native support, more games support it, like they do on PC and Quest, because holy crap, it is an awesome game changer. But it's expensive. Bad Robo says L is the price. Yeah, for sure. Alex says haptic underwear when? asking the hard-hitting questions, the important questions here. You got a bright future in journalism, my friend. Oh, let's see here. All right. Rage J says bad robo. Yeah, don't talk about Astrobot or Jim Ryan around me, or else I'll go off. I'll turn into a complete Jekyll and Hyde personality but anyways, had to give a quick shout out to Behaptics. Now, like I had mentioned before, you know, one of the big things about 2024 was kind of like the narrative and how bad like we want to see that narrative change. That's not just saying we don't want people to be critical or criticize anything. You know, we're very critical. We criticize a lot of things about PSVR2 because we want it to be better. The difference is that we usually do it in a constructive way. Most of the times we bitch and complain about stuff because we want it to be better. We want better games, better experiences, you know, better features, better support, better marketing, all these things. But there's a lot of people out there, obviously, like I said, that unfortunately stuff like media, like Kind of Funny, who or IGN, the laughing stock, the biggest, most powerful laughing stock in the world, in the gaming world. Even GameSpot the other day had some bullshit article like, oh, PSVR2 is dead. Despite, or no, they said like, despite the awesome releases lately, VR is still dying or whatever. And it's like, dude, no. VR is growing. It just grows slower, and it's a smaller market. But it is definitely growing. And it helps to have some pretty awesome game releases. And we are going to talk about the momentum shift that we saw pretty much ever since Black Friday. It started, maybe even started with the PC adapter, then kind of, you know, stuff like Into the Radius came out, some good games. And then we got the release of the big three, which before we get into the big three, I got to give another shout out to Sadakar 7th Legion. Thank you so much for keeping that tip train going. Choo choo. Appreciate you, man. Love the love and support right back at you, homie. Says, not heard you gush about No Man's Sky yet. I was on a pro, just wow. It's another level. Bring on light, no fire VR. I'll wet myself. LOL. That's awesome, man. So, yeah, I guess we can just interject the PS5 Pro. This is, in my opinion, going to be a much bigger deal than what it is right now. Here's the thing, is that the PS5 is already a pretty awesome value for what you get and what kind of VR, high-end VR you can get for $500. I mean, put it this way. You can go out and spend $3,000 on the highest end PC possible, or you can spend $500 on a PS5 or $700 on a PS5 Pro and $500, or when it's on sale, $350. And you will save a lot of money, still expensive, but you will save a lot of money and have basically some of the best VR experiences and games you can play and have. For the price, for the value, a base PS5 is an incredible deal, because you know what it offers you for that price versus what you would have to have on PC to get it something similar is like huge gap. But for the value, the convenience, no tinkering, it's amazing. And my hope is that this is the PS5 Pro in 2025 this year is going to enhance that and increase that value even more. You know, we've seen a couple glimpses of some stuff. You know, what is it? I think, yeah, Gran Turismo 7 got a minor update. But it's a big deal for what it fixes because it enhances the clarity. And then there's stuff like No Man's Sky, which got another big boost. Again, you can always count on, this is something dating back to the last 5-6 years. You can always count on Gran Turismo and No Man's Sky to be doing something crazy and big and new and awesome each year with an update. And of course, it's no surprise that they were one of the first to patch for the PS5 Pro. Now, here's the thing. This isn't even the official PS5 Pro patch. Yes, it is a tweak to the hardware to take advantage of some of the base hardware, but the PS5 Pro hasn't even really gotten its real PS5 Pro patch support yet for VR, which is, of course, it's going to be adding the PSSR, and it kind of remains to see. We have to wait and see what kind of difference that's going to make. But still, once that PSSR update drops, that is the biggest chance of a huge, significant boost to some VR games. I think mainly going to fix things like reprojection, maybe more games with native 90 frame rate. But regardless, the PS5, a base PS5, this is not like the same situation with the PS4 where base PS4 was, ugly. I mean, if it was your first time playing VR, it was fine. But the PS4 to the PS4 Pro was a huge difference. Like, that was a must-have change. I think the PS5, the base model, offers plenty of power and features to, deliver a high-end experience. A lot of games can use DFR. They can use native 90 frames per second. They can use haptics, adaptives, rumble, all those things. But I'm always open to, hey, if you want to give me more incentive or if you want to make this experience even better, sure, why not? But anyways, yeah. So PS5 Pro, pretty cool, but I don't think we've seen anything yet as far as what it's fully capable of. Again, some of this stuff is more like tweaked for the hardware, and not the actual software side has been updated yet. But give it time. Give it time. It will. The full potential will definitely come, and it could be a huge game changer for sure. Huge game changer. Lot more native. Like I said, the base PS5 is already incredible what it's capable of. There are several games that are better on a base PS5 than PC. Doesn't matter how good of a graphics card you have or whatever. There's some stuff doesn't even matter. It's just better on PS5 still. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible achievement there. Because the PS5 was made with VR in mind. So that makes a huge difference. All right, so we tackled the sale, the 350, okay. So the final big W here, and a huge takeaway is that we have landed in 2025 with some huge momentum. I said before, the narrative and the price have basically been, the biggest drawbacks of PSVR2, or the biggest thing holding it back. Price is just something that is making all VR, not as accessible to many people. But also the narrative that has been surrounding PSVR2 has sucked pretty much ever since it launched. And finally, for the very first time in its 2 years of existence, the narrative has finally started to change. Thank God. There's still a lot of things that can be improved. There's still a lot of things, we want to see. We're only getting started still, it feels like. But that narrative has definitely changed, and people have started to wake up and realize PSVR2 is actually a good headset, despite what all these people have, complaining about it, all the hit pieces, all the, whatever it is. The competition, people have started to realize it's good. It started with the PC adapter, where you immediately saw a lot more positive conversations surrounding PSVR2. But I want to talk about something else that happened, and that is the big three. So combined with the PC adapter, the sale of it going on sale for $350, which is a great price, We also had some extra help from the big three that came out. I am, of course, talking about Metro Awakening, Behemoth, and Alien Rogue Incursion. Now, I mentioned last year, or the previous year, 2023, we had a lot of AAA games, which was nice. AAA VR is kind of rare, though. It doesn't happen often. Luckily, we do have some AAA VR to look forward to, like Hitman, World of Assassination, and I think that's it when it comes to like true AAA. But on the other flip side of that is that we have been getting some. I like what's happened this year. I liked what's happened this year with, while we didn't maybe get some AAA, a lot of AAA games, we did get some big games. Like I mentioned earlier, Legendary Tales, Into the Radius, like console quality VR games is what I'm after. Madison VR. I want console quality stuff. Some more hybrids like Phasmophobia too. But I think what did happen was pretty special in that we got these kind of smaller, smaller in scope, but higher in production value games. And and again, Metro was the first one that came out. And a couple years ago, a lot of VR games like this, they'd end up being more like experiences, very limited, didn't really feel like the authentic thing. Looking at you, Call of the Mountain, it didn't really deliver like what makes the game special in the first place. And while there were some corners that had to be cut, there are some limitations here and there. Instead of getting an experience or a tech demo or a 3-hour game, we got like some 8 to 10 hour games that have like replay value and really high production values. Metro was the first one, like I said, where it is just a really high quality first person shooter. They took full advantage of like the haptics, adaptive triggers that feel really good, like amazingly immersive. Not many loading screens, if at all. Diegetic UI. And what I really liked about Metro Awakening was, first of all, this world is so freaking badass. It is an amazing world to be immersed in. It is so immersive. And also it was just a great story-driven game. We don't get a lot of single-player story-driven games in VR that are like with these kinds of production values. So it was awesome to kind of get a little bit of all three here. And I absolutely loved Metro Awakening. Also a big popular IP, which makes people go, oh, like I like Metro. Oh, like I know you say Metro Awakening or Metro in VR, people kind of understand that concept. So Metro Awakening, the first big W game of this kind of like, that kind of like is pushing some really high momentum or giving us a lot of momentum going into 2025. Metro turned out, while not perfect in every way, very, very good, very high quality. And I think most people were pretty happy with it. But yeah, awesome game. Turk says unsubbing for Call of the Mountain slander. Listen, I know a lot of people like Call of the Mountain. I'm just not one of them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I've gone on over and over. I'm not gonna bash on it anymore, but I think it was a failure in just about every single way except for graphics. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about how bad Call of the Mountain is. I'm here to talk about how good Behemoth was. Okay, after launch. Okay. Yes, Behemoth had a rough launch, but literally within a couple days, it was updated to a much better, much better state. And it had a rough like day 1, day 2, but it literally got fixed within a couple of days. And holy crap! Listen, man, if y'all want to tell me I'm wrong about Call of the Mountain, go ahead. You have free speech here to say that you love stuff. There is nothing wrong with that. Aceville VR in the house tonight. What up, man? Also points out Arizona Sunshine remake. Yeah, that was actually I almost forgot that because that was really, really good actually. That was a really important. But anyways, Behemoth, man. Behemoth, the next game from the Skydance, Saints and Sinners devs, not as groundbreaking or, not a benchmark VR title like Saints and Sinners was, unfortunately. So while I think there was some disappointment that came with the launch of Behemoth, there's also a badass game here that came out. And listen, whatever you think about the entirety of the game is fine, but there's no taking away how freaking special the Behemoth fights in this are. I love the combat in this game. I think the combat's great. I think it's a replayable game, which is nice. There's lots of things I love about this game. But dude, there is the fighting the Behemoths is some of the most cinematic VRAF stuff that I absolutely loved, and took the training wheels off, which I really, really liked. But anyways, so that, and then finally, wait, who said that? Charger Mike says, where's the Subside love? I gave Subside a little bit of love earlier, but I think that's fair. Subside is how you do a good tech demo, like Call of the Mountain. I like Behemoth way more than Call of the Mountain. I'm sorry. It's I hated the combat. Call of the Mountain came out in 2023, so it's not even relevant to this conversation. But I just, Call of the Mountain, fine. It's okay for, first time in VR, baby's first VR game, sure. I'm talking so much shit. I'm so sorry. I love you guys. I hate the combat in Call of the Mountain. I hate that the whole game was a climbing game. Visually, it's great. Yes. I don't think it's very good though. Other than visuals, which it also had some technical issues with reprojection. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's a different conversation. Behemoth is awesome. I can see I'm pissing a lot of people off today. I'm sorry. I am not a fan of Call of the Mountain, and you're not going to change my mind. It did get better towards the end, to be fair. Call of the Mountain was a lot better towards the end. But anyways, finally we had, man, I still don't know which the best of the big three are. Maybe Metro. Probably Metro is the best of the big three. I know people were asking me about that. But anyways, my New Year's resolution is to be more mean. No, I need to be nicer. I know. Turk says reporting stream for harassment. I love you guys. Never meet your heroes. You listen, man. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? You guys are so funny, man. Anyways, while not the best of the big three, I think the best, most objective I can say is probably Metro. My favorite of the big three was absolutely Alien Rogue Incursion. Why? Because this was just awesome. Like as an Alien fan, I think this is a must play for any Alien fan. If you're not a fan of the Alien franchise or Alien games, I would probably say stay far away from this game. But if you are a big fan of Alien, you love the lore, you love the world, you love the equipment, the atmosphere, the sound design, all of that stuff, then yeah, you should have picked up Alien Rogue Incursion yesterday. It is so awesome in the way that it just lets you interact with the world in so many different ways. Not the greatest game ever. I think, well, I did give it like a 9 out of 10. And the reason I gave it a 9 out of 10, so for other people, yeah, it's a tricky one. For maybe people that aren't a big fan of Alien, it's like a 7 out of 10. For people that are a big fan of Aliens, it's like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. The reason I gave it a 9 out of 10 is because for about 5 or 6 hours straight, I was telling myself, like, this is freaking amazing. But yeah, Old Darth points out Alien Incursion would gain a whole review point if the attacks were randomized. Yeah, that's obviously the biggest flaw of the game, is that the aliens constantly spawn on you like every minute. And yeah, it becomes mostly problematic when, you know, you're trying to listen to a story dialogue, something, and you're like, come on, man. Or you know, we want to explore a little bit. Dan Kiefer says there is no flamethrower out of 10. But yeah, this is definitely a different game than Alien Isolation. I see Old Darth points out Alien Isolation better than Alien Incursion. I mean, yeah, in some ways, for sure. It's a better game, for sure. But they're completely different. You know, that's a survival game. That's a stealth survival game. This is an action shooter. But, you know, I also really like Alien Fireteam Elite with UEVR. That's also amazing. Listen, as long as it's good, give me all the aliens there is. I don't care. Like, I love Aliens so much. But anyways, yeah, this was, of the big three, this was my personal favorite. Of the, which one I would say is the best, probably Metro, because it was just a great introduction to that world, and you don't really need to know anything about it, and it was just really, really good, and VRAF. But my personal favorite, probably Alien, just because it's Alien and aliens. Popsicle says, I've heard so many different opinions on the best game. So the best game is what you like. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I tried to throw in a little thing there, but anyways. But yeah, Alien Fireteam Elite does rock on PSVR, on UEVR as well. Regos Pentaleon says, you think we'll get that Alien Isolation announcement that was rumored after Alien Rogue came out? Hopefully. Dude, it would be awesome for an official Alien Isolation remake or something to come out and have VR support. VR was included with that rumor. That would be a huge, awesome surprise for 2025 for sure. And I'd like to see IGN have to re-review Alien Isolation. That would be really great, because they're gonna either have to double down on their stupid ass 5.9 bullshit that Ryan McCaffrey, stupid face Ryan McCaffrey gave it. That dude's such a sellout. Ryan McCaffrey is the chief editor at IGN because all the people with talent left. And so unfortunately, you know, it's the best thing he had going for him. So he just stayed there, and now he's in control, unfortunately, which is very sad. And IGN is the biggest joke it's ever been. But luckily people are smarter than, or more aware, I should say, than before, and know not to just trust their reviews, take them with a grain of salt, because they're incredibly unprofessionally done sometimes. Me, I don't give a shit. I'm not a professional. This is my escape from my professional career, so I can say whatever the hell I want. Mostly. Steve IRE says IGN had talent. Yeah, man, they had Greg Miller, who is very talented. They had Colin Moriarty, not Ryan McCaffrey, but Ryan something else, who was like their Final Fantasy guru guy. They had Goldfarb. Dude, I loved Podcast Beyond. Podcast Beyond was amazing. Those were the glory days. They even had some good people. Bad Robo keeping me in check here. Every time I start to get angry, he's leaving a rage J in the chat. Thank you, because I do get carried away sometimes. I try not to be I try not to be too angry, because I end up usually saying things I feel bad about later, and I don't like to feel bad later. Anyways, yeah, I kind of went full rage mode there. But anyways, guys, all right. So 2024, full of some amazing wins and some pretty deep cutting losses. Like I said, let's recap the highlight and see what else we have to look forward to. Huge wins from 2024, some big indie games like Legendary Tales, Madison VR, Into the Radius. Those are like my big indie games. Some big updates to like No Man's Sky and Gran Turismo 7 and Beat Saber. The PC adapter, probably the biggest, one of the biggest things to happen. And then, of course, there's the big three, which I think was also huge, as well as the sale. Can't forget, maybe one of the other biggest W's of 2024 is that the PSVR2 went on sale for $350, and people bought it literally like 30,000 times what it was. It went from selling 800 a month to selling 30,000 a month. That's huge for the install base. That helps developers. Hellsweeper got the DFR update. That was huge. PC adapter, which I think I mentioned, was huge. Behaptics vest, cool. PlayStation Plus collection, cool. And then the biggest L's, stuff like London stuff like Jim Ryan, his screwing up VR. The marketing, not very good still, which it's never been. So it's like, what's new? Summertime was a huge drought. That sucked really bad for me. If that happens again, I'll be prepared this time with my PC adapter and have lots of PC content over the summertime. That's when I'm expecting the majority of that. Some bad ports like Stride, Vertigo, Dead Hook, and of course the biggest L's were London Studio shutting down because they were poorly mismanaged. FCE shutting down because I don't know why they made really bad decisions and had a crappy launch. Firesprite. Is Firesprite even a VR developer anymore? I mean, Sony bought them saying we're gonna have you make VR games. And now they're like, I'm not even sure that they're making VR games for Sony anymore. So that's really weird. We need some more first party games in 2025 for sure. But at least we did get the big three, and we got some smaller studios coming in hot. And of course, the biggest L of 2024, Astrobot, ripping out all of our hearts simultaneously, and then giving us the middle finger afterward. Was a huge slap in the face. Still time to make up for it, though. Hopefully we do end up getting that. But yeah, man. Overall, 2024 was it might actually have been the best year for PSVR2. The first year had some great games, but it was kind of rough. There's no replacing stuff like getting Resident Evil 4 and Village and Gran Turismo and No Man's Sky. That's kind of hard to top. But if you're going to top that without AAA games, what we got this year was actually pretty damn good. Huge indie games, huge, AA games, and great IPs. A little bit better support. It actually seems like their support is getting better for PSVR 2. Now we just need the marketing to get better. And the first party titles. We do need some more of that stuff. But yeah, man, 2025. We've got Arcane Age right around the corner. I'm playing it for review right now, so I can't say anything. But I will as soon as possible, which is within a couple weeks. What else we got? We got stuff to look forward to. I mean, Arcane Age. I don't know what else is coming in January for PSVR 2. But then we actually do have some AAA coming this year, man, with Hitman. I think in March. Is it March or May? We've got Hitman World of Assassination coming. So we've got one AAA game to look forward to. That's a big deal. AA studios like Zombie Army Rebellion coming out. Arcanage is going to be, that's going to be a huge game. Aces of Thunder, maybe we'll finally get that released. Stuff like Firmament, Exocars, some good indie titles as well. So it kind of worked out where, these indie things, indie devs have really saved the day. So awesome, man. Well, like I said, welcome back. We are here. We are officially in the first stream, done with the first stream of 2025. We've got hell of a lot of momentum heading into this year with the release of some big things. PSVR2 had an amazing quarter 4, that's for sure. In terms of games, sales, all the things, really good. Chappie says, any updates on Ghost of Tabor? No, other than it got pushed into this year. I'd probably expect it around, I'm expecting Ghost of Tabor like summertime or quarter 3. But it could come sooner than that. We don't really know, but I'm thinking like summertime or quarter 3, summer or fall is what that's just my gut instinct. So before we get out of here though, I am going to just glance over and read some of y'all's comments, because this is interactive chat after all. Thank you, Deathly the Death Cat. Good to see you, my metal brother. Herb the 247 Game Cat. Yo, what up, Herb? Scott the PSVR Game Cat for Life says, so Arcanage is 2 weeks long. Cool, can't wait to play it myself. Takes AJ 2 weeks to finish it. It might be 2 weeks long, who knows. Spooky Yuki, what up, dude? Says, I wish they wouldn't show trailers for any VR games anymore, and no reviews either. I think trailers are fine. Just don't give away everything in the trailer, and you're good. I know it's kind of a tough one, because you got to kind of show what makes the game fun, but you also have to not spoil the game as well. Behemoth. Behemoth had the most spoiler ass trailers. I would love to do like an awards thing for the year. I just didn't have any time. Maybe we'll do this. I will try Exfil Zone. Trust me, it is definitely on my radar because people are just clamoring over it. So absolutely. Sadakar 7th Legion again with the donation. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Wow, so many donations. Thank you, man. I really appreciate the love and support. Right back at you. Says the year of the pro. Don't doubt me. Quote me next year. LOL. You mean this year? It's 2025 now. So yeah. We'll see. I would love if there is enough support and enough stuff for that interest me for a PS5 Pro, then I will absolutely go get one. I will not hesitate. The only reason I haven't bought one yet is because there's just Gran Turismo 7 and No Man's Sky are not enough for me yet. Need a lot more than that. Wanderer, oh yes, I don't want to see any more of Wanderer until it launches. Let's see here, but thank you, Sadukar, 7th Legion. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of you that donated, man. That's really nice of you. Not necessary always, but trust me when I say it helps a lot. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. Obviously, like I said, I can't talk about Arcanage yet. But there's some other stuff coming. Exocars should be coming pretty soon. I'm really excited about some of these. And I will give some more love to Subside, because hell yeah, Subside was awesome new addition, something that's a little bit more simple on the tech demo-y side, but fun to play. So really cool. Corey Reviews and Others. Now these are Corey's words, not mine. Says, I can't wait for Arcanage. It's going to be an epic and make people buy more headset. I think Hitman will be a better big one too. For sure. If Arcanage turns out as good as it potentially can be, it will definitely be a great one. JPEG Q. Wait, why don't I see? Oh, okay. Sal, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Appreciate you, my dude. Guys, happy new year, everybody, man. Sal, I got Sal's gift to me in the back there. I'm gonna try to get this cleaned up a little bit more. I'm trying to work on this. I got rid of Dreams for Swordsman. Got my Saints and Sinners there. Mega Man's not going anywhere. Mega Man's staying there. I've got my Cactor pinata. Yes, that is an actual Cactor pinata back there. That is so cool. I love that thing. Got Sal's gift. Got my Beat Saber hat that Dave Station. I'll tell you guys, I've been missing Dave a lot lately. I've been thinking about him a lot. Always thinking about you, dude. And yeah, man, I love you, dude. And I got his thing here with me. Also made by Sal. Thank you, Sal, for this. So I always remember Dave by. Miss the homie. But yeah, man, I want to get, and then of course I've got my pylon. For those who played StarCraft, you must construct additional pylons. There's my pylon. There's my fracked water bottle. I want to get it reworked over there a little bit more cleaner, practical, organized. That is something I've been working on in this room. Get some live streams going. But yeah, man. And then of course I've got my Moss mug here with my pens. Quill, where is Moss Book 3? Guys, go buy Moss. Moss Moss is on sale for everyone who just picked up a PSVR. Good God. One of the things I was raging about with that, Brian and Miles did a really good, best of the sale, best deals of the sale. Here's the thing. I understand that there's been some better sales recently for this, but when I see that Moss Book 1 is $12, go buy it. It is SS tier. Go buy and play Moss, one of my favorite games of all time. Please go check it out if you haven't. It's $12 or $13 at most, and it is amazing. There is seldom games as quality as Moss, and they're good for everybody. Everybody can play it. Dan Keeper says, Cactor pinatas. Oh my God, I was playing FF7 thinking about those recently. Yeah, it's a Cactor pinata. I'll break it out one day and show you better. But guys, I think with that, it is time to get out of here. 2024, started strong. Middle of 2024 was rough, I would say, but it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And 2024 finished incredibly strong for PSVR2. So not a perfect year, but man, what a way to finish. That was awesome. That was an awesome end to the year. Tons of momentum, tons to look forward to and be excited about, and don't even have to wait that long before we start getting some stuff. But yeah, amazing stuff, guys. Well, it's time to get out of here, but thank you guys so much as always, man. Thank you to each and every one of you watching, all 90 of you watching right now. Thank you. Whether you got here from the beginning or just now, thank you. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. It's going to be a good year, guys. It's going to be a damn good year. There's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be things we have to face. But man, we've got the best fucking community to face all this shit together. And nothing will stop us ever. But guys, thank you so much, man. Time to get out of here. You have a wonderful, safe night. Also, thank you to these lovely people. Support me on patreon.com/PSVR Underground. Thank you so much. You could do so for $1 more a month and get your name on the holy scroll. And also, can you get access to a couple other extra things? Usually written reviews are on there. Sometimes some extra stuff. There's a Legendary Tales interview on there. A couple extra things. Thank you to everyone who donated tonight. Man, Sadokar, 7th Legion, coming in heavy with the donations tonight. Thank you, man. Of course, my dude Sal, Nihilus, Ryan with the very first donation of 2025. Kill Artist, the Dream Weaver. Thank you guys so much for your donations. But most importantly, man, just thank you guys for all your support as always. Thank you for coming to hang out and just talk PSVR2. Get a heavy dose of PSVR2 conversation and talk about games and the headset and all the good and the bad and the ugly and the awesome and the amazing. I couldn't think of a better community to be doing all this shit with. So I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, y'all. Thank you, Flippy Nuggets. Happy New Year. Mark Poppin, Pringles Leaf. Q the Caddy says, Guy Son, fist bump to you. Awesome Tatum. Rock on, homie. Bad Robo, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Scott, the PSVR Game Cap for life. Happy birthday, my dude. Headbite. Gory Reviews and others. Thank you so much, man. Sanador, the Game Tiger. Good to see you, bro. Flame Hat, the Game Cat. Fire, fire, fire. Dan Kiefer in the house tonight. What up, man? Silver Nexus, my dude, says, take care, be merry, and game on, PSVR Undergrounders. Zeke, thanks so much, man. Old Darth, bye-bye. Spooky Yuki, Flame. Salvador, my dude, thank you as always. Sadokar, 7th Legion, appreciate you, homie. Old Darth in the house tonight. Ace Bill, we got a celebrity in the chat tonight. Popsicle, Turk, thank you so much, man. Kill Artist, thank you, man. Looper, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house. Thank you for staying elite. Deathly, the Death Cat. Good to see you, man. Long time no see. Feels like, anyways. Steve IRE from Ireland. Ragos Pentaleon. He says, blink twice. Hold on, wait. Ragos Pantaleon says, blink twice if Arcanage is good. Okay, you ready? Okay, can't say anything. Here you go. And there it is.